spinning. We are live. Hi, I'm Selethia with Dotted Line Signings,
I am TaKisha with After Hours VA.
and we welcome you to this edition of Remote Online Notarization, where we will continue our conversation that we started last week as it pertains to remote online notarization. Hopefully, you all will have some questions. We can answer those questions for you and just kind of have a general conversation because remote online notarization is a very broad topic and there can never be enough information sharing as it pertains to this topic. Keisha, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, it's like you mentioned, it's overarching, it's ever changing, and we continue to have conversations about it. There are some states that have recently enacted remote online notarization just as of 2020. There are some states that are doing the emergency laws. So lots to learn, lots to talk about. So again, we do welcome your questions. I think I want to start it off. Just today, my mentor um, that I seeked out with loan signings and that sort of thing back when I first started in 2012, she stopped by my house today. And, granted, she's been a notary probably 15, 20 years almost. And so when Virginia legalized remote notarization, I was really pushing it 5 or so years ago. And, I was trying to get her on board. She was training me on loan signings. And then when I had the opportunity to pay it back, I'm like, hey, what do you think about this Ron thing? And at the time, she shied away from it. And then today, she mentioned, I know you were trying to show me this stuff years ago, but where do I start? And I think that seems to be one of the beginning questions is where do you start? And I want to preface it by saying that of course it is state dependent. I know here in Virginia, you do have to be a traditional notary first, and then you apply for your RON commission. And so the way that it works in Virginia, you have to purchase that digital certificate first and a copy of your seal, and you actually affix that to a sample document and upload that to the Virginia SOS site. And so then, you wait a few days or a few weeks, however long it may take, and then you get commissioned as a e-notary. So that's kind of step one, getting that digital certificate. And I think we talked about it last week. There are a lot of providers with a digital certificate. I recommend IdenTrust only because that's who I went through. That may set you back about $75 or $80, depending on how many years you want the license for. So at one point in time, you could either just get a 1 year license or you could get a 4 year to run with your commission. In Virginia, it's a 4 year commission. And I believe this year I only got the 1 year term. So the price may vary depending on the length of years you want the license for. But just think about that. That's an added cost,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be yearly or every 4 years, however long you want. It runs concurrent with your commission. So just an added cost to think about. And again, you have to get that before even applying. So I'm not sure if it's the same in Florida. What are some of your first steps if someone were to come to you and say, where do I start?
Um, First, I would tell them to make sure they understand exactly what they're getting into. Um, Not only financial risk, but the liability that comes along with being a remote online notary because you do have to keep good records. You do have to keep track of where your videos are stored. So just making sure that they are ready for that responsibility. Say, hey, are you ready to keep these videos for 10 years? And if they look like a deer in headlights, then no, they may not be they might not be ready to take on online notarizations. But for the most part, like you said, we have to be a traditional notary first. We have to increase our bond from 7,500. Well, have an additional bond that's specifically for being a remote online notary that is 25,000. And you get it notarized and then you send it off to the state. But you have to have a provider. What platform are you going to use? That you have to put that on the Florida application. That doesn't mean you have to stick with that particular platform. It doesn't mean you can't add more platforms. It just means that in order to get your application through, you have to have a platform listed. So more research is involved, especially in Florida, because I haven't seen a preferred vendor list. They don't recommend, they give you the requirements of a service provider, but they do not tell you who to use at this time. So that could be one thing. They will have to do a lot of research and determine how much financial risk they want to take with becoming a Ron. Yeah.
Exactly. So you mentioned bond and having separate insurance and that sort of thing. And in Virginia, we're not required to have a bond. We do have, E&O policy and that sort of thing. And as Selethia mentioned, we do have to disclose what platform we may want to use to the SOS, and that could change. That could change, but they just want to make sure that you've one identified, a reputable platform, and you can contact them at any time if you needed to change. Their biggest concern is having that digital certificate in place.
So we have a question. Can you be from Yvette? Can you be signed up with more than one Ron provider? What state are you in, Yvette? It may take a minute because of
Okay.
the delay. But in Florida, you can't have more than one Ron provider. You just have to let them know within 30 days of signing up with that particular provider.
Same in Virginia. We're allowed to have multiple RON providers, but again, it's not so much as the platform you're using, it's that digital certificate because you've already submitted that to the SOS. So if there are ever any changes with that, you definitely want to notify them pretty quickly. Um, Me as an example, I use one platform for my independent general notary work, and then I also use another platform that provides the customers to me. I'm using actually three different platforms, but I'm using one digital certificate from Trust to accomplish that.
Oh, I know.
Do you?
Did
I'm not
Pennsylvania?
sure if it's state specific, so
Yeah, because we just asked her state, and she said Pennsylvania. Is that the one that just became? That you posted an
I
article?
believe
Is that the one
so. I
that just
believe
became permanent?
so. I believe so because I actually got an email from the PRIA local, the subject line was Pennsylvania joins the party and enacts a new remote notarization statute. Let me see if I can review it really quickly.
Okay, and then Yvette has another question while you look that up.
Yep, so it looks like it was signed into law on October 29th of 2020.
Oh wow.
Kind of the same as other states, identity proof and KBA, that sort of thing. So it looks like the original article was posted by a company called Lexology. Not sure how I got on their mailing list, but that was right on time. I'll read
Yeah,
that later.
yeah. Okay, and then Yvette has another question. Where do you store your Rons?
And Yvette, if you're asking about storage of documents, storage of video, or storage of journals, I'm not sure, but maybe I'll touch on the video and journal piece. So mostly, I say mostly all, but all the platforms I've looked at and researched, they have a component where the e-journal is built in. So it's stored within that platform. And of course, in order to get in that platform, you must have a password and, that sort of thing to get into the platform. So the videos and the journals are stored within the platform. But you, as a notary, you still are. It's still up to you to download that information and back it up. So here in Virginia, we have to keep an e-journal and we have to keep video on file for 5 years. So even though that information is stored within my platform, I make it a point to download that information either after each transaction. I'm getting a little better than that, better than that, or monthly. And I'm backing it up to either a cloud-based service and on an external hard drive. Because if anything were to ever come into question, you have that e-journal, then you have the video, to back you up. As far as documents, most of the platforms that I'm a part of, they do not have a retention policy for the documents. They do not keep the documents. They may be on file for about 5 to 7 days, and in that time frame, if you're independent, it's up to you to get that document to the end customer, and then it deletes itself from that system. You can't go back 30 days and pull that document.
Yep, pretty much the same here. Um, I use a cloud-based service to download my videos too. And the cloud-based service I use is pCloud, and inside pCloud they have what they call the crypt. That's a little bit more, even though pCloud is secure, that's a little bit more secure because if you forget your password, then you can't get back in it. So if you so if you decide to use something that is cryptic and it can erase if you forget your password, always use the password hint just in case. But so that's where my videos go and that's where my journals go, into a cloud service provider. Now, I do know some notaries that use what do you call it, a USB or an external
So
drive
the price may vary depending on.
to serve to say excuse me, to keep their video recordings. Have you started? I don't know, Yvette, if you're still online. Have you started doing Ron's, or what is your experience with Ron's? I don't know if she's still online, but maybe we'll see the question come by. I saw a question in a group one time. It was, if you're doing Ron's, do you still need a printer? So
Mhm.
some people said no, but I am a I am a paper person. So if I'm doing a Ron and it's probably more than 20 pages, I am probably printing it out so that I can look at it, especially if it has multiple signature spots and little initial spots or places you got to look for the date, anything that's just more than one, right? They're not just signing page 20 and being gone. They got to do a whole bunch of stuff on page 1, page 22, page 30. So I am a fan of printing it out and making notes. If I don't print it out, then I'll go page by page and I'll keep a counter and on a piece of paper in my notebook and say, okay, on page 41, I need to put the signer signature and I notarize. So as I'm going back through the document and tagging it, I have something to reference so that I am not missing any signatures when it comes to signing. Keisha, do you have any tricks of the trade?
Yeah, so speaking of like equipment that you may need that you wouldn't ordinarily use in a regular in-person signing, I'm a fan of having dual screens. you may see me looking around because I do have another screen off to my side. So what you're doing as far as marking off in paper, I may have the platform pulled up on one screen and then I have the physical PDF on the other.
Mhm.
And I'm, running through that PDF the same way you're doing it, except on screen. Um, Also, I live by noise canceling headphones. My house may get a little noisy. So if you're working from home and you're doing, regardless of whether it's a loan signing package or general notary work, you want to be able to hear and hear a person clearly and have them hear you. And that leads me to, I do have an external webcam, only because the stock webcam that comes with some laptops may be a little bit grainy. Um,
Mhm.
so that's a tool I like to have as well. I like a mouse, believe it or not. I I don't know. I can't function without a mouse. You Mac users, I know you're one, Selethia, but I just don't get how you just use that mouse pad. It just drives me crazy. I have to have a mouse. Like I just have to have it. So
Yeah.
those are kind of my tools. That dual monitor, noise canceling headphones, the external webcam. That's probably the only thing that's different in my supply box.
Okay. So if we talk about, I do have a standalone microphone, and I'm thinking about upgrading my microphone. Right now, I have a toner. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know if you can see it. It's a USB microphone, but I am thinking about.
Oh, that's why you sound so
Oh,
clear.
yeah.
You didn't tell me that.
So I use
Oh, that's awesome.
the microphone, and so I have it sitting here, but I want to upgrade to a Yeti, right? Because I hear those are the microphones to have, but we'll see
I
how.
might have to add that to my Amazon Christmas list. Never
I
thought
also,
about that.
what else do I use? Because the lighting in my space is so dim, I also use a ring light to brighten up the space a little bit. And right now I have a small one, so it can sit behind my monitor and then overlap my camera. I did upgrade my ring light, but it might be too big. So, but those are the two things that I love the most: is my microphone and my ring light. Because I think if it wasn't on, I think you could tell a difference. Hold on, let me see.
Yeah, the lighting makes a difference.
Yeah.
So we installed some lighting above me because I don't have ceiling lights.
Hmm.
And so that's been kind of my biggest issue. And I bought like a small ring light, but it doesn't work well with my external camera. So I have my external camera up here, so I don't have anything to hang the ring light on. So is yours the one that clips, or is it on a like a tripod?
It's on a. I got the 10 inch. It's on a tripod, and so it's not on the floor. It's actually sitting on my desk, like directly behind my monitor and behind my external cam. So
Okay.
it's a real small one. It's like 10.5 inch. I bought it off Amazon, and then it fits on top of my desk. So
Okay.
yeah.
I have
So
another LED light as well, and I keep forgetting I have it. Maybe I need to turn that on, and that'll make a difference.
I
It's
know
it's
y'all are
one of the
probably
ones
like,
that
what
have
is
a.
up with the lights? Because you want to make sure
You want to
that
make sure you can see. I mean, at one point in time, I had a run at 11 p.m. and my whole house was dark, and I wanted to make sure the person didn't think I was somewhere in a cave. So
yeah, you want to make sure everybody can be seen. I've had some clients I've had to say, "Hey, I can't see you. Can you turn on the light?" So that's one thing you got to. You still, you know how they say, control the table. In a Ron signing, you still have to control the session. If you can't see the signer, then just say, "Hey, can you turn on the light? Can you bring your camera down?" Because remember, you are responsible for identifying that signer, and if you can't see
hmm
them, then you're not able to identify them. And so
and
Yvette
then if
has
you
a
can
question.
see them, you have to
Yep.
tell them, can you put on a shirt? Can you put on pants? I've had people on camera like laying chilling in the bed. So
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Wow. I haven't experienced that one. Okay, so Yvette asked, can you put together a list of things that one would need to start doing Ron's? Hmm.
I have a list of like items you may need. I don't have a list of like step one, step two, digital certificate, and that sort of thing. It's something, I've been working on behind the scenes. But when mine is up and running, I can definitely share it. I don't know about you, Selethia. Maybe you already have something in place. I do
Um,
one-on-one notary consultation, so I have like some scripts, but it needs to be perfected. Is what I should say. That I have something. Um, it's not formal.
yes, I think that that question is, are you talking about physical things? Or are you talking about, is there anything in particular that you're talking about? Because I could speak about personality, to be able to start doing Ron's. Having patience, having great customer service skills, having some being tech savvy at least a little bit, because sometimes you have to troubleshoot for your signers. So those things are must haves for me. I think I mentioned that in one of them. Oh, she wants equipment wise. Okay, here we go.
Equipment wise, yeah. So I do have something I can get pulled together and and send it to you. It's something that I send my notary consults. But again, it's not a like a all inclusive list. It's items that I found that work well for me. Some you can do without, some you don't have to have. Just like we mentioned storage earlier, I know that Selethia uses P Cloud, but I'm looking for free 99 sometimes. So I've been using Dropbox, but I may have to upgrade because I think I'm over, my 2 gigs. Because with Dropbox, they do give you 2 gigs. Now I haven't utilize Google Drive as much for business. I use it a lot for my personal photos, but there's Google Drive, if you're looking for cloud-based storage. So things like that you probably haven't thought of. Again, like the dual monitors. Some people can get away with
Yes.
one, but I have to have that second monitor. I can't live without it. I do
Yep.
also have an external keyboard too, along with the mouse. Like I just got it's emphasis on I have to have a mouse. But Yvette, I have something I can shoot it over to you. Just some quick things,
Oh yeah, that's a great question. That's a great question. I'm trying to think about what
and I
else.
may not. Yeah, I may not be able to post in here. Um,
You know what?
Not on the. I can see the comments. I can't post, but um, I can post later.
Oh, so Yvette says she's just getting started in the business. So notary and remote online notary. That's the way I read that. I know she'll respond shortly. So then we'll
Yep.
be.
Yep. Wow.
What else
You're in a,
about the?
you're in a great time, Yvette. Like you mentioned, you're in Pennsylvania, and if Pennsylvania just passed that law in
Mm-hmm.
October, you definitely want to be on like the first tranche of it, learning and researching everything you can.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, like Keisha said, position yourself so that you're the person that other notaries go to in Pennsylvania. So definitely take advantage of learning everything. She said yes. So she's
In
fresh
both.
notary. Mm-hmm. And wow. Well, that's awesome. Congratulations and welcome aboard. There's a lot of fun to be had. It's for always learning, always learning. Are you always in learning mode, Keisha?
I am. I'm not above learning anything new. I learn something new every day. I mean, that leads me to lead. I know Yvette may ask about training.
Mhm.
There's not a lot of training out there for Ron. I mean, most of the platforms will offer platform training on how to use that um, specific platform. But what I will stress is you must know your notary laws, traditional and electronic, because they some are a little different. So um, definitely want education there on just basic notary laws for your state.
I see Mariama said, me too. Me too. Oh, hold on. Where is it?
Mariama is not
Yeah,
new.
that's what I'm saying. Me
Let's see.
too.
She's a
Yeah.
pro. You're a pro in this industry, Mariama. You're a pro.
That's what I was like. She said me too. What she mean me too? Oh, learning something new. Oh, yes. Yes.
Exactly.
Always and forever. That's the way you grow, right? Is by learning. Oh, hold on. Though she said far from it. So Yvette said through the SOS for your Ron training or your notary training. I think that's probably where you would start because I think they would dictate their training requirements for to be
Yep.
your traditional notary and to be electronic notary.
hmm So here in
It,
Virginia, we don't have education requirements. Um, so I started with a local notary that offered notary training on basic notarial laws and that sort of thing. Even though I read my handbook front and back, I seeked out that training. And then I did training through the NNA. So not sure on Pennsylvania laws, but if it's a state that doesn't have, formal training or providers that they require you to go through, definitely seek that outside training. And I mean, it's tons out there. I would start with the NNA first. If you don't know where to go after you go to your Secretary of State, and they may say, "Well, we don't have a required training program," definitely National Notary Association to start off, and then you'll find once you start researching, there's different trainings that are gonna start popping up. So I won't endorse just one because there's something for everyone out there, but you'll find
yeah,
there's training out there. A lot of people provide it. A lot of notaries, I should say, provide it.
I was trying to find the website. Hold on. Nationalnotary.org. Okay, that's what I think it'll post. Nationalnotary.org is the NNA website. And sometimes, like when I go to that website, it'll specifically take me to stuff that is geared towards Florida, um, because I'm a Florida notary. So, okay, so she's NNA certified already to do loan signings.
Okay.
So NNA certified in Pennsylvania. So okay, I forgot to click that up there. Okay, so do,
And so you can be certified at the loan signings, but Ron is just a different ball game. So if you're asking about, specific Ron training,
right, then that's the yeah, like you said, that's one they may have information regarding that new law that was passed in Pennsylvania.
yeah, I the article
Let me
to
see.
you.
Because when I bring up National Notary, it has a Florida star in there. So I would think, yeah, they do have a section learn about the technology, how to become a Ron, and providing the service to the public. So they will talk about it, but definitely go to your SOS to see Oh, she got something in the latter part of October. Okay. Okay. Woohoo. So she's on track. We have a question from Carla. Do you have any suggestions to look for in a good trainer for either general and or loan signing agent? Any what to look for in a good trainer? Keisha, what do you look for in a good trainer?
Um, for starters, it's not really about how long a person has been a notary because a person could have been a notary for 20 years and that doesn't, make them a good trainer of real estate loan signings. Um, I don't know. As far as a trainer, like I keep coming back to mentor. I like to go the mentor route first, finding a mentor first.
Mm,
As far as trainers, I think you'd have to go with someone who's proven their track record. I mean, if you hop into a Facebook group and say, hey, who has the best training, you're going to get 50 different answers. And so that's kind of hard. I say if you're looking at a training program, I say referrals from other notaries and starting
mm.
from a mentor first. Find someone you're working closely with because their opinion does matter, and they may be able to get you on the right track with formalized training. Because, like I said, if you ask in a group, you're going to get better than LFS, and I wouldn't want to tell you that. I think people learn differently, so you may look into just like researching the platforms, you may have to research those courses people are telling you to take first, and you may find that in each one, um, you may like something about Notary Coach that you don't like about LSS Mark Will. So it depends on your learning style and what's being recommended, but ultimately don't try to take all at one time. People say, oh, do NNA, do Mark Wills, do Notary Coach, go over to Notary to Pro, go over to Notary to Notary. You find yourself spending a lot of money on, various trainings. So just like when you're researching these platforms, you may want to, get a list of what people have referred to you and research from there. I know that's not a good answer, but that's how I would approach the training.
And to piggyback on Keisha, once you get that referral list, go on YouTube because most of these trainers are on YouTube to see if they fit your style. So that's how I decide who I wanted to train with, whoever fit my style. That doesn't mean anything bad about everybody, the other trainers, because they're phenomenal. It's just I just went with the one that was more of my style, you know, laid back. What was it? Can you recommend a mentoring program?
And what I will say, just to piggyback off that,
Yeah.
try to start local. You'd be surprised of local
Mhm.
mentors and trainers in your state before you try to do the national thing. Because just keep in mind that, these bigger training programs, they're general. They may not be state specific. So at least try to start it in your own state.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm
And that
sorry. I
was the
didn't even see
question.
Carla's questions
Yeah, that was the
about
question.
mentoring in your state.
See? Moving
I
right
think so,
along.
Carla. I say start there first. And, I know people are going to say, I can't network with notaries in my state. They look at me as competition and that sort of thing. And that's true. But we talked about this last week, building that referral base of, notaries and mentors in your state is key. Um,
Mhm.
so I definitely recommend, you know, getting a notary buddy, preferably, one in your state.
Yeah. What state are you in, Carla? And we'll wait for that to come over. And then I'll go back to Yvette's question. Can you recommend a mentoring program?
So let's see. I'm going to take it back. So in 2012, when I started, the way I found my mentor was through a local women's group that I joined here in Richmond. And just happened to be in the right place at the right time, talking about notary work and that sort of thing. And someone was like, "Oh, so you do what such and such does?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I'm trying to, but let me meet such and such." And like, I met my mentor that way, and we built a rapport, and exchanged ideas and that sort of thing. And we talk about the relationship being reciprocal from a mentor. You don't want someone you're just draining with questions. You want to be able to offer something in return. So I don't know of any like formal mentoring programs, but that's the way I found my mentor. Like I said, I'm a member of a women's group here in Richmond and found my mentor that way. Now, I know that's not going to work for everyone. So the good news is Selethia, she actually has, she started what's called Notary Buddy here on Facebook. And I know the Facebook groups get overwhelming, but what's good about Notary Buddy, if you join, everyone is in there with the mindset of either they're going to be a mentor or a mentee. Now, with that being said, it may not be someone in your specific state, but what she's trying to do is bridge the mentor and mentee together and maybe take that relationship offline so that you can, actually get what you need outside of Facebook. But if anyone else has any mentoring programs formalized that they'd like to shout out, please put them in the comments. I just don't have any. I will mention even Meetup. Not sure if you're familiar with meetup.com. I've been to so many networking events by myself. I'll get on because that was a goal of mine a few years ago to start doing more in-person networking. Social media, I'm great. Behind the keyboard, I'm great. In person, I suck. I tell everyone that all day long. But Meetup is a great way to like put your interests in. You can find things in your area. I know a lot of things are virtual these days and through Zoom. But they even have like a networking after five group that someone sent me an email about today, and I'm thinking about checking that out. So you may look up and find a mentoring program there, or someone may have already created. I can't think of the guy's name that's in Pennsylvania, but he's the head of the or maybe I'm thinking about Ohio. Let me backtrack that really quickly. But I think I know a guy in Pennsylvania that has either a meetup group or he has something specific to that state. But let me think about it and I'll post it if I can find it. But yeah, meetup.com is another good one because you probably will be able to network with other people who are already doing this and you don't have to recreate anything.
Right. And Mariama, yes, don't overwhelm yourself. Look carefully for training. That's piggybacking on what Keisha said. Very good. That's a very good point. Um, like Keisha said, don't go spend your money all in all the everywhere because
Hmm. I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna take that, and
yeah,
then
and then it's
you look
information
up, you've
overload.
taken 5 trainings and haven't completed one signing.
Right,
We don't want that to
right.
happen.
And Katrina says the NNA website is geared towards your location, so it will pop up in your state. Yes, I think when you go on the website, because I was just there on your top right, you'll see your state flag. And if you don't see it, then there's a drop down box and you can choose your state. And then you can scroll down and find the information that way. And I believe you can get weekly emails from the NNA, and it pops out at you because it'll say something that's happening in your state. So it'll send you to information regarding your state.
Hmm.
Okay.
And
Thank
what
you
I
all.
liked about the NNA before I became a member, I did a lot of their, I don't know if they still have them now, but they did have quite a bit of free webinars. And then they have a lot of information on YouTube too. YouTube University is great too. Just like meetup.com, YouTube University. Now, I know you may get stuck in a rant of, following different people, but there are some good notary YouTube channels out there too. And you never know, you may have find someone that's in Pennsylvania, that already has some type of consulting or mentorship component of their notary business and willing to help out.
Yep. And Carla is in Illinois. I don't think I have or know anyone. I'm saying that, and then they'll be like, "Don't you know me?" Yeah, I don't think I know anyone in Illinois at the moment. Nope. I nope. I'm missing that part. But do you have anything you want to add? I mean, we didn't talk about notary. We didn't talk about Ron. We didn't talk about a little bit of everything, which is great. Feeding the souls notary information. So, do you have anything you want to add, Keisha?
I'm just looking over the questions just to see if I missed anything. Not too much. I mean, with like this, it was it Yvette that said she's new at both.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mariama said, don't overwhelm yourself. Just do one thing at a time. If you just became a traditional notary, go through that training and master, not so much as master it, but feel confident about what you're doing there first and then move on to Ron. Trying to tackle both at one time. Some people can do it, but you may find that you need time to get acclimated with, oh, I want to focus on general notary work. Let me do that for a while. Oh, I want to transition into real estate loan signings. Let me get trained and, master that and then start
Right.
adding other services. Just don't try to do it all at one time.
Yep. I like that's a great piece of advice, Keisha. Look at you spitting gems out for everybody to just pick up. Them golden nuggets. Oh, we have new comments. Hold on.
Because if you're anything like me, I'm like, I hear something, I'm ready to roll. I'm not taking time researching it, even though I say take time and research things, but I have a bad habit of, oh, I want to add that. Oh, I want to do this, and not really mastering what's in front of me at the moment.
Yeah, yes, that's me too. Thank you, Rolanda. I think I just posted the link, Carla. I hope that works. And then Yvette asked, will we have this available to go back to? Yes, it should always be on my page. I'm gonna try to put it on my YouTube channel, but it'll definitely be on my page here on Dotted Line Signings. I hope that's how you got here. I'm not sure how you got here, but it should be on my page of Dotted Line Signings. And but yeah, it'll be here for as long as Facebook will have me. It'll be here. Thank you for the great questions. Everybody's coming in, engaged, asking questions. Really do appreciate it. Really do. Oh, so we have
And I
another.
just like to add, if you want to go back and look at the one we did last Tuesday, that's actually on my page, and that's After Hours VA. And I
Okay.
think I pinned it, so you'll find it as soon as you go to the page if you want a recap of what we talked about last week.
Yes, that's right, Keisha. Right. What I at is after hours VA. Right.
Yep,
One, two,
yep.
three. Okay. And so then we have another question. Thank you, Miss Verlanda. She said we're doing a great job. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
We need more questions.
Yes. Now, okay.
Oh goodness. I'm drinking a sugar-free Red Bull.
Oh, so
I
Mariama,
know that's my sister texted me and said, "What are you drinking on live?" It's been one of those days. It's a sugar-free Red Bull.
with Ron, there is a possibility of having loan signing and general notary. So please take your time and learn each. Yes.
Exactly. Exactly. The bulk of my work has been general notary work, but I have done quite a few seller side signings on Ron. I've done quite a bit of hybrids, which are still in person,
Hmm.
but signed electronically on the computer, and some wet signature. So there's a variety of work out there.
Yes.
I think the hardest part, I think what scares people is the technology aspect. And again, it's like the platform can't teach you how to be a notary, but they do have support when it comes to, um, working the platform.
Yep. I've done general notary and loan signing online notarization. General notary, they're coming to you with the document, right? So they pretty much know what they're signing.
Hmm.
And loan signing, sometimes you do have to go through the document, but you're hoping that title or whomever is sending the information has already gone over the process with the signer. General notary, sometimes you may get a document that doesn't have your notarial verbiage on it. So then you have to ask them which one you need. I'm speaking about the jurat and the acknowledgement for the most part. So I send a sample over and say, hey, which one would you like to use for this particular document? Because they always have to choose. If it's not there, then the signer has to choose which way they want you to notarize their document. So just remember that. So if you have your sample of your acknowledgement and sample verbiage of your jurat, if you get a document over, you be like, oh, well, let me see which one they want to use. And then you're corresponding through email. Or if you're talking to them over the phone, then you'll be prepared to um, notarize that document and not get caught off guard in the middle of your signing and then realizing that they don't have the correct notarial verbiage or they don't have any. So you're stuck. You're not notarizing. And in most instances, that may have just cost you a few dollars. So then you have to start the process over. So definitely when you get
Hmm.
your document that you're supposed to notarize, go straight to the notarial verbiage or where you think it should be to make sure it's there before you take on that client and accept that responsibility.
Yep. So that leads me to saying the same as what you would do in a traditional world, you're doing in a virtual world. You're
Mm-hmm.
still IDing the client, you're still reviewing the document for blanks, and you're still asking questions if you're
Mm-hmm.
unsure, because we don't want to get caught with UPL and that sort of thing. So you're still asking that customer or real estate client, whomever, this document doesn't have notarial verbiage. Would you like for me to use an acknowledgement or jurat? And then they're going to look at you like you're crazy and say, oh, I don't know, you choose one. And I always come back and say, I can't choose for you, but you can
Right.
choose either one. I'll tell you what an acknowledgement is, and I'll explain the difference of a jurat, because we always get that one and say, "Oh, just choose one." What do
Yeah,
most people choose?
exactly.
And you don't want to get caught on camera choosing a notarial certificate. So be careful with that one.
Yep. And then, do you recommend a desktop or a laptop? Hmm.
Me personally, a laptop. Again, I mentioned I do have a dual monitor. So I have my actual laptop here, and then I have a little docking station, and then my external monitor. The reason why
Mm-hmm.
I say a laptop for me personally, because I still do in-person signings, I still do hybrids, and so the laptop is much more accessible. Like I can pick it up and take it. It doesn't, if you're tied down to a desktop and you get the opportunity to either do a hybrid or you start back doing in-person signs and that sort of thing, if you have to scan on the road and you need that device with you. We do everything from our phone, but we can't do everything from our phone. So having that flexibility of a laptop to take with me or dock it when I get back home, that's my personal preference.
Yep, that's mine too. I pretty much have the same setup as Keisha. Like she said, I use a Mac. I use a Mac. I know some people say, "Oh, Macs aren't good for Rons," but it works for me. Um, so yes, I have a MacBook Pro that is tied into an external monitor. So when it's time to go, I can just unhook it and be ready to go. So I second the laptop idea because it's portable and you can still get your work done. And sometimes the screen may be too small. That's why you want the external, you know, another monitor so that things will be bigger and you can see your signer a little bit better. So I
Hmm.
hope that helps.
Yep.
We
And
have another question.
so with Ron, it's not so much about the device you're using. You'll find that most platforms will tell you, well, we work better while utilizing Chrome or the Firefox browser. So for the most part, it's not device specific, but it may be browser specific. And you can download
Oh,
Chrome
yeah.
on a MacBook if you're used to using a MacBook. So that's not an issue there.
Yeah. And we have another question. I've seen a few notifications for Ron loan signings. Really? How much work time will go into tagging the docs?
That depends. That depends on that depends on now just I will say just because it's raw, yes, it's faster, but sometimes the same amount of work can go into that loan signing as an in-person one. It's just that you're not printing everything. Selethia has more experience on the refi side with Ron's, and I've been doing seller side purchases, seller side signings, which, as you know, may be less than 50 pages. So the tagging process may not be as strenuous.
um,
but if you have
yes.
a 140-page loan
I've
signing,
had how many pages? I've had over 100. Yes, I've had over 100, and like I said, I'm a creature of habit. Give me my paper. So I'm very for lack of a better term, OCD. We'll say that when it comes to certain things. So I may do double the work, right? Because I'm going through the documents and tagging them and or writing them down. Um, well, using your little flags or whatever just to remember this is where I have a signing or this is where a signature goes. So I do double the work. And I will say that because I will go through the document itself before I actually go into the program to tag it. So that's why I prefer to have the documents the day before or at least a few hours before because you're still dealing with technology. You have to give it time to sometimes catch up, sometimes to fall out, sometimes to go off, So you're still dealing with technology. If you're doing a loan signing and you're just starting out, I would say ask for the docs the day before. Don't try to do it the same day. Can it be done? Of course it can. But you don't want to be rushed when you're doing any type of Ron work. And especially when you have a plus 100 plus page document and then you may forget that a signature goes right there. But guess what? You have to do it all over again from the very beginning. So just be mindful of that. Don't rush the process. If you feel like you're going to be rushing, then just say, hey, can we move the meeting time back a little bit so that I can make sure that, and that's where your customer service and your selling skills come into play. Hey, I might not be, if you get me this document, you know how we got that whole 2 hour rule, that may be your rule for your Ron. Hey, if I get it after 2 hours or 2 hours before the appointment, then I may have to move it back because I still have to tag the documents. And it also comes with customer educating the customer because you telling them that you got to tag the documents, that don't mean nothing to them. That
mhm.
they just want to get it done. They may not understand that language. So customer service, customer education, and being firm but flexible with your time as it pertains to doing your Ron loan signings. Like I said,
Hmm.
I double the work. It doesn't bother me to do it twice because at least I know that I got it right. And sometimes before they come online to sign, I'll go back and look again. So because it's it in person, it's easier to go back to get that signature. Yes, it'll probably be an inconvenience, but telling somebody, hey, I need you to do ID verification again, do your KBAs again, and come back online again and sit here again, versus, hey, can I meet you at your house for 5 minutes so you can sign this document? You know, so definitely take your time when you're
Yep.
doing that.
And I will say, Katrina, this may also be platforms specific. I can't talk tonight. Specific. So if you're hired through a title, a lender that uses their own proprietary platform, tagging may not be an issue. The
Mm-hmm.
documents may already be pre-tagged. So we're kind of giving you the horror stories from doing this with an independent platform where we have to do all the work, like your doc verifies or your Sonics and that sort of thing. I can't speak too much to Pavaso, but that's a platform that the title company will use, and their documents may be
Mm-hmm.
pre-tagged where you just show up, identify the signer through the means you have to identify them through, and they're just tapping where they need to sign. So we're kind of giving you the independent piece of it.
Yep.
Not scaring you, but no shortcuts in Ron, and I think that's what some people think. They think that we just don't adhere to the same rules that we would in a traditional world, and that's a myth. That's not true.
Nope, not at all. Not at
It's
all.
more convenient. I will say that it is more
Oh yes.
convenient.
Oh yes.
But we're still kind of doing the same thing.
Doing the same thing. Um, Shawnee Jenkins said, "Hello, ladies." Hey.
Hey, that's LaShawn. So LaShawn is from the Notary Institution, and someone asked about training earlier, and I said I don't endorse training, so I lied a little bit. But check out LaShawn and at the Notary Institution. She's wonderful. She does have a YouTube channel, and she does have training courses. Post that link, LaShawn,
Yeah,
when
you
you
can
get
post the
a
link. I just
chance to the
typed the
Notary
name.
Institution. Hmm. And I
Well,
believe
we're
LaShawn may be based out of Texas. Um, but awesome course getting into the business.
woohoo. Okay, I think we're coming up on the top of the hour.
Oh,
Yeah.
already?
Yeah. Look at us. Look at us. So, I don't. Do you have any save rounds or out or okay? Do you have any closing remarks? Sorry.
I do not. I'm just thoroughly surprised we didn't get any questions about what platform should I be on. So I'm quite sure that'll come up next week. Um, Nothing really. I could talk
Yeah.
Notary and Ron all day. So
Well, I don't have anything to add. As always, it's been lovely.
you're welcome,
Woohoo!
Katrina.
It's been great sitting here chatting with you all and getting to know other notaries, which I enjoy doing. Um, Coming together, sharing information, and having great conversation. I know it started out talking about Ron, but like I said, we talked a little bit about everything, and I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation. So again, for all that attended live, or will see the replay, or that ask questions, thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it. Um, Keisha did a live, what was it, Sunday, talking about notary
Mhm.
databases, and
Yep.
her page is in the group as well. I know. Sorry, Tanika. Tanika just said she missed it, and it'll be a replay in the group. I mean, on my page. Sorry. But Keisha did a live on Sunday talking about the different notary databases. That's correct, right? Yep. I don't know why I
Yep.
asked because
Sure
I
did.
watched it. And she did something awesome. She said, if you're watching the replay, hashtag replay what databases you use. So I'm going to say, if you're watching the replay, hashtag, you see, I'm trying to think off the head. Um, what's a great hashtag for this one? Because we talked a little about everything.
We talked a little about everything, and we have people from varying experiences. But I know there are more questions about Ron. I see him in the Facebook groups all day long.
Yes.
So, so I don't know. I think hashtag replay. What's the one thing you need to know about Ron? Or that
Yeah.
may be too generic, but still trying to get more questions so that we know
Oh,
how to answer you best.
all right. I like that. Hashtag what do you want to know about Ron? Hashtag replay. Then what you want to know about Ron. There we go.
Mhm.
I like it. I like
Mhm.
it. Well, thank you all. And we look forward to connecting with you all. Keisha has a group. What's the name of your group, Keisha?
It's Quick Find Notary Signing Agents. It actually started with the premise of being a directory, but it's developed into much more. You all are welcome to join to network with other notaries from all over.
Tell me again. Quick find.
Quick Find Notary Signing Agent.
Oh, okay. I did type it right. Ooh. So Keisha's group is posted in the comments, and Notary Buddy is my group, and that's posted in the comments. Notary Buddy is about building relationships with other notaries and developing and finding your mentor or mentee and connecting on an authentic, organic, genuine level. So that's my desire for the group. That's my goal for the group. And looking forward to accomplishing that. So I don't have anything else to add. I guess I'm just what do they say, over the moon. You know, some some
I don't
phrase to
either,
it.
but will we be doing this same time next week if time permits?
Yes, yes, we'll be here next Tuesday at 8 o'clock, and then we'll
Hmm.
be on Keisha's page
Yep.
next Tuesday. Yay! So if you have any questions, then feel free to shoot them over to either Keisha or myself, and then we will save them for next week. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Sayonara. Hold on, can you see my hand? Where?
Thank you.
Never mind. I give up. Okay, bye. Y'all have a great evening. Thank you.
Good night.